Hey, welcome to the first installment for this new channel, where I'm going to solely focus on uploading videos about golf. My name is Michael Choi, I live in Southern California, but I often fly out to Hawaii to visit my parents, which is where I am right now. This round was played at West Loch in Aiea, Hawaii. It's a par 72 city-owned course. Yeah, let's just jump in to the first hole. It's a par 4, short, 312 yards straight ahead. My dad and I are not pros, so we don't warm up before our rounds. And as you can see, that's a result of me pushing it straight into the fairway of the 18th hole.
Okay.
And you can hear my dad saying it's okay, it's the first shot. And he gets ready, and his shot looks pretty good. He pushes it into those trees, but not a bad shot for the first shot. My second shot, I have a pretty good look at the pin, 108 yards-ish, 52-degree gap wedge, and it's a pretty good shot. I'm on the green, and we jump into my dad's second shot. It's a 7-iron.
Nice shot.
Low
Get in the hole.
shot,
Oh my gosh.
92 yards, and you can hear us reacting because there he is. We thought it almost went into the hole. I had a pretty good shot over those trees, about a 10-footer, and I pushed that birdie putt. So I tapped that in for par. These courses had these pool noodles on these
Nice birdie.
pins, so you see the ball just bounce over the hole on the first hole. Every other hole you'll see it go in, but here's the second hole, par 5, 452 yards. It has a pretty big dog leg to the left, but I pull mine hard to the other fairway. So you hear me asking if it's lost, but thankfully it was found. My dad hits, I think, one of his best drives in this round. My dad and I have been practicing our finishes, so you see him going back to his finish. I have a pretty hard shot, 175 yards. I try to go for a layup over these trees, and you can just hear it go through those trees. Thankfully, it bounces back into the fairway. I have 138 yards left. I take out my 8-iron again. Struck that pretty well. And you'll see me react because I normally hit my 8-iron 140-ish total, and this goes way past 140, so I was wondering why it went that much. My dad's second shot, 118 pitching wedge, and he's on the green. This is a par 5 that is normally a lot longer, but they moved the tee box a bit up, so my dad's on in 2. I take my 60 wedge. I've been practicing these flop shots, so my dad reacts in a great way. My dad's putt for eagle, and he left that pretty short. He still grumbles about this putt. He should have at least made birdie, and as you can see, he leaves this one a bit short and pushes it, and he gets par for that hole. I believe this is my 5th shot. Yeah. Leave that short and just tap that in for bogey. So my dad is even and I am 1 over at the moment. This par 3 is a very short par 4. Hole number 3, excuse me. It's only 289 yards. And there is a ridge that you can't see in the middle. There are some trees on the right and the left. So if you miss, it's long gone. But my dad hits it straight onto the hole to give him another shot at eagle. I take my 4-iron trying to be smart. My driver is not the best with accuracy. And as you can tell, my problem is either pushing the ball or pulling it hard. So
I need a ball.
you hear me saying needing a ball for a provisional, but thankfully I didn't need it because we found this ball right here. I take my 56 sandwich for about a 50-yard shot. I never really had a problem with these 50-yard shots because I don't know. My 50% shots with these 56-degree wedges turn out pretty well. My dad's second shot is a putt for eagle. Pretty good putt. Taps that in for birdie. He's back at 1 under. And I should have made this for birdie, but man, my putter has not been good. So I tap that in for par. And we go on to the 4th hole. It's a par 4, straight down the middle, 391 yards. My dad pushes it a little. It's still pretty good drive. Just a little right of the fairway. I believe this is one of my better drives of the round. It just starts off a little left, fades in. I should be in the middle of the fairway. Yeah, my dad has a pretty awkward lie. Ball above his feet. And he tops it. It still went a pretty good distance, but not what he was looking for. My second shot is 145 yards. Take my 8-iron. Clouds looking beautiful in Hawaii. This was shot in the first week of December, so not what any of the other states in the mainland probably look like right now. Probably really cold. But I pulled this shot, thankfully not in the bunker. My dad's third shot is about 57 yards away. He takes his sandwich, and he has a pretty good pitch shot right there. Have a really awkward lie. Ball under my feet. I take my 60-degree lob wedge. And I've been practicing my lob shot, so you can just see that land on the green. It's a bit short, but my biggest mistake was leaving these putts really short. You can see me react horribly. I'm just not able to read greens right now, so I leave this putt for par short as well, and I tap that in for bogey. Oh, I believe double bogey, because it's only a par 4. So I tapped this in for double bogey. My dad had par, I believe. So I'm at 3 over in this hole number 5, which is a par 3, 97 yards. Take my 56-degree sandwich. I usually hit my gap wedge perfectly around 100 yards.
Really short.
But since this hole had a downhill view, I compensated with that sandwich. I was pretty short still. My dad also hits his sandwich. He was a bit short and to the left. Takes his 60-degree lob wedge. He has a nice shot. This is my second shot. And same story, I leave it short. I don't really practice anything over 15 feet, so yeah, I take that a little long. I tap it in for bogey. My dad's third shot for par. A little long, so he taps that in for bogey as well. So he's back at even. This is hole number 6, which is a par 4, short 300 yards, but it has a huge dog leg to the left. And I believe if you hit it too long straight, it'll go into those trees you see in the back on those hills. And it's long gone if you... So I take my 3-wood, trying to be smart. And then my beautiful fiance, who is filming, she kind of stands up at mid-swing, so I ask her not to stand up. So I kind of topped the ball. But thankfully, it was short. We're both around the same area. My dad has 157, takes a 7-iron, and he kind of tops it. Doesn't get on the green. He still has maybe 50, 60 yards left. Not a bad shot. He was in the middle. I have about 138 yards. I take my 8-iron. And a pretty good looking shot. I'm on the green, past the hole. Yeah, my dad has less than 40 yards. Takes a 60-degree lob wedge, and you see his ball right there. My third putt for birdie was probably my better putt of the day.
Okay.
And I tapped that in for par. My dad's putt for par. is a bit short, so he taps that in for bogey. And now he's at 1 over while I am at 4 over. This is hole number 7, which is a par 3, 138 yards. And this was probably my best shot of the day. I hit it straight at the pin. Maybe had like 5-10 feet for birdie. My dad had a really good shot as well. We both took 8-iron. And as you can see, we just walk up next to it. He had a better advantage, so I lined up my ball for a birdie putt. And I should have taken advantage of this. But man, I don't know what was going through my head. I just pulled that and tapped that in for par. My dad really putted well in this first 9. And as you can see, he just drains that for birdie. And he's back at even. So I've been practicing in California this year because of COVID and quarantining. And I really thought that I would be able to come back and be able to beat my dad. But he's playing the best round that I've seen him play. As you can see, he drives this over those waters in this hole. And he has a great looking approach shot. This is 381 yards. Another dog leg to the left. And it's about 225-40 to carry those waters. And then another 260 yards to the body of water on the right. I hit a good drive a little to the right, and I barely missed the water, thankfully. So I have 132 yards. It's uphill. It's a little over that hill on the right. I take my 8-iron because it's uphill, and I pull this one again. I've been trying to fix my swing. I know I come over the top a lot, so it's a long process. My dad and I both learn golf by ourselves. We learn from YouTube, and we're both amateurs. So we hit from the white tees, as you can tell. My dad has a pretty good shot. I missed the green. I went left. And I'm over there by the cart. I take my 60-degree gap wedge, and just a soft pitch. Pretty good pitch. My dad was over here. He takes his putter, which is smart, for his third shot. And that was a really good putt. He just taps that in for par. I have about 20-30 feet for par. And just a little short. I'm happy with that putt. Tap that in for bogey. So I'm at 5 over, which honestly I'm still okay with. My dad is at even. And this is a par 5. Everything is straight down the middle. Over this, where you see the sun kind of fading away, that's where it just kind of drops a bit. So when you hit a drive straight down the middle, it just carries hard. So I believe my dad hit his driver maybe 300 yards or maybe plus total, which is crazy because we normally hit our drivers 250, 260 total. We don't really know how to hit driver well. I kind of hit the bottom of my driver. Doesn't go as far. I think it went, 250? So I have this lie, which the ball is a little above my feet. I take my 4-iron trying to go for it, and I chunk it hard. Thankfully, because it was my 4-iron, it still carried a bit. But that I was trying to go on in 2. But here's my dad with 152 yards left with his 8-iron. And he chunks it as well. His carried a lot further than mine, but we were both disappointed with that. I think I got tilted by that shot. But here I have around 100 yards, 52-degree gap wedge. My dad and I, we don't own rangefinders, so we don't really know the exact yardages to the pins. So we use, our apps to know estimates of how far it is. I carried this a little too far. Like I said earlier, I usually hit my 52 degrees 100 yards exactly, but that went about 115, which I was surprised about. My dad takes a sandwich for about 75 to 80 yards, and he's on the green. His regulations are really good. He's always on in regulation. I'm there by the palm trees, and I take my gap wedge. I believe this was a good shot. I just wished I carried it a bit more. You can see the ball land. It's rolling downhill. My fiance Grace turns the camera around, and it's not bad. You see my dad's ball right there. This is his shot for birdie. He's at even right now. And you can hear his reaction because that was a beautiful putt for birdie. And he ends the first 9 with 1 under, which is unbelievable. My dad and I both started, I would say this past year, maybe last year, we were both average 25 over par. But here we end. I end with 6 over. My dad is 1 under. And that's crazy. I thought I would come in beating my dad. He beat me on the first 9. We'll see what happens on the next 9. So please subscribe, like, and we'll see you in the next video. See y'all.